There we go. Okay, so obviously today, as you can expect, I'm here to motivate you to be the best you can be and reach for the stars, get rich or die trying, go for the gold, blah, blah, blah. But what I really want to tell you is that no matter what you have planned in your master plan, no matter what you want to do, there's one thing that's always going to be for certain, and that's that something is definitely going to go wrong. So today I'm just going to go through 3 stories of where something did not go according to my plan, and it all starts when I was 6 years old. Yes, I was asked to be the flower girl in my second cousin Linda's wedding, and I'm really excited for this. I'm going to be the star of the show, I'm hot stuff. And so I'm ready for the day. I'm dressed in this overwhelming amount of lace, and I'm walking down the aisle, scattering flower petals in my wake, like the typical flower girl thing, actually. I'm not even thinking of the bride. I think I'm the star of the show, and just really excited for everyone to be looking at me. Walk down the aisle after the wedding. The wedding party is posing for pictures and everything. Of course, at that age, no one has their front 2 teeth, so I'm flashing my charming gap tooth grin. And all of a sudden, there's this mad frenzy to get to the reception because there's never enough meatballs. So everyone's scrambles to the reception, and I am left at the altar. I'm the flower girl. I'm supposed to be the star of the show, and there's no one at the church. I'm talking lone girl in a barren wasteland, tumbleweeds, by myself, no way to get to the reception. That's my mom in the green dress dancing. At that point, I don't think she'd realized I was at the church by myself, left. Here's me at the reception with my mom. You can definitely tell I've been crying. But the point of the story is that I had this whole idea of how the day was going to go, and it definitely did not go according to plan. Okay, so let's move on to story number 2. We're going to skip ahead to my senior year when I was 17. Not that there weren't many obstacles and failures along the way, but we're skipping ahead. So I'm 17, and I've always been really passionate about foreign languages, particularly French. I'm really interested in French language, and that's probably the language I was the most involved with outside the classroom. So it's October of my senior year, and my mom forwards me this email. There's this little group that meets in Richmond monthly, and it's anyone that's interested in French culture or language, and they meet up, and they always have a speaker that has some relation to French culture. And that month, it was going to be the attaché culturel, who works in the embassy in Washington, D.C. So for those of you that aren't familiar, the attaché culturel is just about one step under the level of importance of the ambassador himself. So it was really cool that he was going to be at this little dinner of 30 people in Richmond, Virginia. So my mom sent me the email, and I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So we go to the dinner. He's a really great speaker, really personable, and afterwards I'm like, hey, I'm looking for an internship. I'm going to ask him if he can give me an internship. So he's talking to people. I kind of wait my turn in line, and I go up to him, and I'm racking my brain for how to say internship in French because I want to make a good impression. By the way, I asked him if he had an intern rather than an internship. So it didn't go as planned, but that's not even the story. So I asked him if he has an internship, and he's like, no, I don't really have anything available right now, but here's my business card. So I was like, all right, I didn't get an internship, but I have the attaché culturel's business card and his personal cell phone. I am, again, hot stuff. So so I have his business card, and so didn't really know what to do with it, but I held on to it. And I go to my French teacher when I see her the next time, and I'm just trying to show off and suck up. You guys know how it is. And I'm like, hey, I got the attaché culturel's business card. And her face just kind of drops. And I'm like, what did I say? And she's like, we have been trying to invite him to be the speaker at Congrès for the past 2 or 3 years. So for those of you that don't know, let's pause. Congrès is this celebration in Chesterfield County for students that are interested in French culture. Usually about 250, 300 middle school and high school students attend every year. And they've been trying to invite him to the Chesterfield County Congrès for the past 2 or 3 years, and they can't get a hold of him. So I've just presented this business card with his cell phone number. And of course, they want me to call him and invite him to come to Midlothian, Virginia for an afternoon. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? So I'm going to take it on. I guess I can say my motto with most things is that I'm not going to waste 5 hours seeing if I can do something. That's a waste of my time. I'm going to spend 15 hours making sure it happens. So I decided from the beginning, like, he's going to come. It's going to happen. So I guess he probably picked up on the 30th phone call. His secretary wouldn't patch me through. I was leaving voicemails. He wouldn't pick up, wouldn't return my phone calls, but he does answer. I called his cell phone. I have like 4 French dictionaries around me and like wordreference.com, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I'm trying to put up my best front that I'm really fluent in French. And you know, he answers. He's a really great guy. He was really friendly and receptive, and he agrees to come. I was like, all right, like that wasn't too bad. So that was probably December of my senior year by the time I got a hold of him, and the event's not till March. So I would call back every once in a while to check in, you know, make sure he hasn't planned a getaway to Morocco or something of the sort. And probably 2 months before I call and I talk to his secretary, and I'm like, you know, I found this schedule on Amtrak, and you can come down to Midlothian, and then this is the time that you can go back to DC, back to the embassy. And his secretary's like, yeah, we got that. You know, we'll buy the ticket, everything's good. Call a month before, just checking in, making sure that everything's good. Yeah, we got the ticket, everything's good. He'll see you on March 11th. So I feel pretty good about it. I think like 2 weeks before I called his secretary again, and I was like, we're excited to have him. And he was like, stop calling us. I was like, okay. So, I mean, I've done everything I can to ensure that he's going to be there. Called him the day before just to tell him we were really excited to have him. So it's the morning of Congrès. I woke up, I'm driving to Congrès. It's at Midlothian High School, which is where Congrès was held that year. And driving to Congrès, and I look down at my cell phone, and it's a number that's not programmed to my phone. So in that situation, of course, there's like 2 possibilities. It's either a telemarketer or it's the attaché culturel to the French embassy. I'm like, please let it be a telemarketer, please. It was not a telemarketer. It was the attaché culturel, and he's standing in the DC train station, and he's like, yes, I haven't gotten on the train because I didn't buy my ticket and it's sold out. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Congrès starts in 30 minutes, and he's still in DC. He's not really sure if he can get on the next train or not. He's going to see. We leave it at that. So I'm a crying mess. I get to Midlothian. I go to my teacher. I'm a mess. How does it work out? He gets there with plenty of time to spare. He's the keynote speaker. He was great. He was so relatable and personable to all the kids. This is him, that's him there. He went to a workshop with kids that occurred later in the afternoon after his speech and just did this impromptu little session. He was really great. He went back to DC in the afternoon and everything worked out, but tears were definitely shed. So let's skip to obstacle number 3, and that's going to be my capstone project, and this is something that you guys are going to do as seniors. So the first semester of your senior year, or whenever you might take it on, you're going to do a major community service project. So for me, I chose to do the Polar Express. Not my idea, I just brought it to the Richmond area. So what I did was I took a group of pediatric cancer patients from MCV, and we kind of created this day where they think they're going to the North Pole. So we took a train from Richmond, Virginia, Staples Mill Station to Ashland, Virginia, which is 15 minutes away. So it was like a good little ride there. And all my friends and I are dressed as elves, and my mom's Miss Claus. And behind the little Ashland train station, there's this like old Victorian inn, so beautiful, decorated it like Mr. and Miss Claus's home. It's the North Pole, and the age group was like 2 to 6, so they loved it. So it's the day of Congrès, not Congrès, it's the day of the Polar Express. I'm pretty much deranged because I'm so nervous about the event. It's been 4 months planning. And I wake up and all of my friends are meeting at my house. So like my mom, my cousin, my aunt who is a nurse at MCV in the pediatric cancer unit. So she was really great to work with. And so I have all my friends coming and everyone's there. My friend Jen is late. She gets lost, unfortunately. And that's okay. I was on the phone with her for like 15 minutes, like, yes, you turn there, then turn there, then turn there. She got there. She is so nervous for me and nervous herself. So she gets to the house, we're already late. She's parallel parking on my street. And my friend Dylan is already there, and he's parked, and she hits Dylan's car like 4 or 5 times when she's parking, rear ends him 4 or 5 times. And Dylan's standing at the window like, what the heck, Jen? And we're all like, shut up, Dylan, this isn't about you. Like, go away. So we all jump into the car. We're on our way there. And so I'm like, okay, crisis averted, like we're there, we're elves. And we're in the car and I'm like, okay, so I have elf hats, I have masking tape, I have extra markers, I don't have the train tickets. I don't have the train tickets. So we're on the way to the train station, I don't have the train tickets, I'm an idiot. So we turn around, grab the train tickets, get back just in the nick of time, jump on the train. Luckily, they let everyone board, and then I was the last elf. So I tried to make it like I planned that, which I didn't, and gave the conductor the ticket. So okay, so here we are on the train. We're singing carols on the train with the kids. No. We're singing carols on the train with the kids, and we're about to get to Ashland. So what I picture when we get to Ashland is that we're going to get off this side of the train, and we're going to go straight through the little train station, and there's going to be the beautifully decorated Henry Clay Inn that's going to be Mr. and Miss Claus's house. So it's going to be perfect in my mind. And also, snow was in the forecast for that day. So I was like, if it snows, I will be the happiest person on earth, because it was December 5th, so there was a chance that it was going to snow. It didn't snow. It poured rain. So not only did we not get off the side of the train, we got off the opposite side of the train, and you can't see the inn that's all decorated and beautiful. Oh, there it is. No, that's not what you saw. You saw Ashland, Virginia. So there's Randolph-Macon College and cars driving by, and men that are not 4 feet tall, so you know they're not elves, and you're just this is not the North Pole, and it's supposed to be. So I'm jumping off with my friends, and I'm looking at the kids' faces, and they're young, I'm hoping they're gullible, and I'm just looking at their faces, trying to kind of get a hint of what's going on in their brains, and they're like, woo, we're in the North Pole, yeah! I'm just okay, woo. So crisis, again, averted. Many crises that day, but thus far, it really was the best day of my life. We played games, we did crafts with the kids. That's some of my friends and my aunt and my cousin. So it was just really rewarding. The whole day was. That's dancing. So I guess that's just another example of a huge risk that you have to take in order to learn some lessons and for some things to go wrong. So where am I now? I'm going to be a sophomore at University of California, Berkeley in the fall. I went there last year as a freshman. Definitely terrified. I had a suitcase, a carry-on, and a backpack, and that was my life. 3,000 miles away from home. Got really homesick the end of the first semester, but I absolutely love it now. And the point is that if you don't take risks, you'll never get to experience the impact and the thrill of something going wrong, no matter what goes wrong. And nothing has at school yet, but I'm sure it will. You know in the end that it's going to be absolutely, completely worth it.